Mean, the average mode, most often range. Subtract the smallest from the largest. Median, the middle number when you line them from the greatest to the least. Mean, the average mode, most often range. Subtract the smallest from the largest. Median, the middle number when.
Problem 13 at the top of page 4 asks you to name the mathematical property in each box. The property that's being shown in this first box where reciprocals are being multiplied to give a product of 1, that's the multiplicative. Inverse. Here we're adding opposites to get a sum of 0, that's the additive inverse. You have to sort of look at this one to see what's going on, but if k is -2 and 7k plus 10 equals -4, then 7 multiplied by -2 plus 10 equals -4. It's the variable k is being substituted for its equivalent value -2. So this one is showing you substitution. And here we have 23 equals 23. It's as if 23 is looking at its reflection in the mirror, so that's reflexive property. Problem number 14. The range of temperatures in Moscow, Russia for 2014 was 45 degrees Celsius. If the lowest recorded temperature that year was -12 degrees, or 12 degrees below 0 Celsius, what was the highest temperature? There's two ways to solve this. I think first let's just look at just imagine a thermometer. And we know the lowest recorded temperature is 12 below 0. So let's put 0 degrees on our thermometer. And 12 below 0 would be down here. Because it's below 0, it's on a vertical number line, the negatives would be going down below the 0. And then we know the range is 45 degrees. So we know from this lowest temperature to some highest temperature, we know that range is 45 degrees. Well, it's 12 degrees just from here to here, right? It's 12 degrees from -12 to 0. The range between they're separated by 12 degrees. So it must be another, how much? How much more do we need to get to 45? 12 and what? 12 and 33. So if I go another 33 degrees up, then I'll have a total range of 45. So 33 degrees up from the 0 would just be 33 degrees above 0. Or 33 degrees Celsius. Whenever you have a range and the low number is a negative, it's helpful to think of a number line to sort of understand that for the difference between these two to be 45, I would need this 12 plus 33 more to get to the high temperature. Another way to look at it would be just write an algebraic equation. We know that the range is the highest minus the lowest. We don't know the highest, so we could just call that h. H minus the lowest temperature, which is -12. H minus -12 equals 45. That's our range. But subtracting -12, remember subtracting is the same as adding the opposite. So h minus -12 is the same as h plus opposite of -12, which is 12. And if h plus 12 is 45, what would you add to 12 to give you 45? Well, there's our 33 again. Or you could just solve this by undoing this, adding 12 with the inverse, which is subtracting 12. Do that to both sides, property of equality. This difference is 33, so you get h equals 33, or 33 degrees Celsius. Problem 15 and 16 we're solving equations. So here we have k divided by 4 plus 11 equals negative 29. If I have a two-step equation like this, I want to work on the side with the variable, but I don't want to work on the variable term first. I want to get rid of this constant term. So the way I can undo adding 11 is with the inverse, which is subtracting 11. I do that to both sides. I'm going to put the line down the equal sign in case you prefer that method. And 11 and negative 11 is 0. That's why we did it, so that this constant term would now be 0, so I don't need to write the 0. I just have k over 4 plus 0, which is just k over 4, is equal to this difference. Now this isn't, you have to be careful with this. I could easily see someone writing 18 down here, but this is negative 29 minus 11. It's the same as negative 29 plus the opposite of 11, negative 11. And so this is negative 40. This difference is negative 40. Now I want to undo this dividing by 4 with the inverse operation, which is multiplying by 4. Because if I do that, then these 4's cancel, and I'll just get k, 1k, which is k. But if I multiplied my left side by 4, I need to multiply my right side by 4. 40 times 4 is 160, and a negative times positive is negative, so negative 160. I believe that's the value for k, but we'll check it by substituting it into the original. You can use the substitution property to substitute negative 160 for k. Negative 160 divided by 4 is just negative 40, because there are 44s in 160, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So I have negative 40 plus 11 equals negative 29. If I was at negative 40 on a number line, say 0's here, and I added 11, I would go to the right to add 11. So I'd still be in the negatives. I would just be closer to the 0 by 11. So you find the difference between 40 and 11, which is 29, and just realize you're still in the negative. So negative 29 equals negative 29. There's the reflexive property that verifies that k is really negative 160. Finally, problem 16. 1 equals negative 20 plus 7/8 multiplied by g. Just because the variable is on the right side of the equation, don't let that throw you off. You always want to be working on the side with the variable. The other side's going to take care of itself, because I'm just going to use property of equality on the other side. For example, if I want to isolate g on this right side of the equation, I want to get rid of this constant term, this negative 20, and so I can add 20 to negative 20, because I know if I add opposites I get a sum of 0. But if I add 20 to the right side of the equation, I need to add 20 to the left side of the equation. 1 plus 20 is 21, so now I have 21 is equal to, that becomes 0, so that's gone, 7/8 g. But I don't want to know 7/8 g, I want to know g. I want to know 1g, which is g. So I need to multiply the 7/8 by its reciprocal 8/7 in order for these to all cancel and for me to get 1g. But then I need to multiply the other side of the equation by 8/7. I'm really squeezing this in here. Let me do this over here. 8/7 multiplied by 21. 7 and 21 have a common factor of 7. 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 21 divided by 7 is 3. And 8 multiplied by 3 is 24. So I get 24 over 1, which is 24. So g equals 24. If I did it right, I'll know when I substitute it back in here. 1 equals negative 20 plus 7/8 g. So 1 equals negative 20 plus 7/8 multiplied by 21. Not 21, 24. I substituted 24 for g. 7/8 multiplied by 24. 8 and 24 have a common factor of 8. 24 divided by 8 is 3. 7 times 3 is 21, so I get 21 here. So I have negative 20 plus 21 equals positive 1. And it does, because the difference between these two is 1. And the 21 is farther from 0 than the negative 20. It has a greater absolute value. So my my sum is positive in this case. 1 equals 1. There's the reflexive property again. If you think of it on a number line, if you were at negative 20 and 0 is way over here, and you add 21, you're going to the right. But if you're adding 21, you're adding enough to get past the 0, because you need to add 20 to get to the 0, and 1 more gets you to positive 1. Okay, I hope that helped you prepare for the test. If you watched these videos, I appreciate your effort in preparing and studying. I know you're going to do great, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Median, the middle number when you line them from the greatest to the least. Mean, the average mode, most often range, subtract the smallest from the largest. Median, the middle number when you line them from the greatest to the least.